Hey guys, it's Squall, and this is part 31 of Everlasting Summer. And we're in the tunnel with Alisa. I have lost track of the amount of times that Shurik has gone missing. Why can't that boy just learn his lesson already? But we're in here with Alisa, so let's see what that changes. Barely opened one eye as I felt a searing spotlight upon me. I put it away. Alisa was squatting next to me and looking at me in a nervous manner. Any limbs broken? I don't know. I've moved my hands and feet, everything seemed to be fine. Given the height, I was pretty lucky to make it down alive. I barely managed to stand up and examine the crash site. Indeed, we were in some kind of long corridor. There was some kind of heavy wiring all along the walls and lamps encased in heavy metal holders attached to the ceiling. In any other situation, I would have guessed that it's a subway service tunnel, but it was hardly likely that Sovyonok has already reached such a level of infrastructure. Where are we? I don't know, but we have to get out of here. Climbing the crumbled wall was hardly an option. In fact, I was wondering how we even survived a fall from such a height. Yeah, you know, Semyon surviving a fall like that is one thing, but Alisa? She's a petite girl, she's so slim. It's amazing she didn't break anything. Well, it seems that we've got to find an exit somewhere else. How do we do that? Alisa asked, slowly turning pale. Not a single trace of her usual arrogance remained on her face. Well, I guess there's gotta be an exit here, right? Probably. But which way do we go? Now that's a good question. At first glance, it seemed like a good idea to head towards the camp, at least in the direction I thought it was, but I hadn't seen anything there that resembled an exit from the catacombs. And that means that we should rather try the opposite direction. Give me that. I snatched the flashlight from Alisa's hand and pointed its light into the darkness. That way. Huh. That's pretty similar to the way Lena was drawn. We were slowly proceeded forward, with Alisa keeping a firm grip on my hand. In other circumstances, I might have been surprised, embarrassed, or even rejoiced. How should I know? But right now, I was just eager to get out of here as soon as possible. My bruises from the fall were aching. The blood was pulsing in my head like a heavy pendulum. Even the flickering spotlight that kept illuminating the cement walls continually wasn't exactly raising our morale. Damn, there's also Shurik. What? Why did we go into the night forest in the first place? To find Shurik? Oh, just forget him. He might have fallen down here just like us. Of course, Alisa has a point. This wasn't exactly the best time to engage in a search mission. If we don't manage to get out, there would be a search mission for us instead. But I couldn't just take my mind off this thought. It was as if Shurik was standing right before my eyes, giving me a reproachful look. "Look out!" Alisa yelled. I almost crashed into a massive metal door. A biohazard sign immediately caught my eye. This means that we're in a bomb shelter, I mumbled under my breath. Yeah, I've heard of something like that. You have? Why didn't you mention it before? How would I know it'd be important? I guess you're right. Fine. I grasped the door's wheel and pushed it as hard as I could, trying to turn it. The rusty metal grated, but refused to budge. Stop slacking, help me. Alisa hesitated a little but then grasped the handle and started to pull. Finally, we managed to turn the wheel and the door opened. It was hard to mistake the room we entered for anything else. It was definitely a bomb shelter. Cabinets full of gas masks and dry rations, lots of equipment, bunk beds, and air recirculation systems. There was everything one would need to survive a nuclear war. Well, at least to survive the first blast. Alisa clenched my arm even tighter. What is it? What? She blabbered under her breath. Scared? What are you scared of? Indeed, what of? We tumbled down into an abandoned bomb shelter. Now we're wandering here in the dark, trying to find an exit. Oh yeah, nothing to be afraid of. Those thoughts made me squirm and I instinctively drew nearer to Alisa. She didn't say a thing, just blushed a little and turned her back to me. Well, in any case... What? We have to keep searching for an exit. Well, there's another door. Indeed, there was a door on the far wall, just like the one we came in through. However, no matter how hard I tried to open it, it was stuck. Need some help? Nope, it's jammed for good. I glanced around the room, trying to find something that would work as a lever, and noticed a crowbar in the far corner. Great. Alisa gave me a blank stare. Watch it. However, I still couldn't move the handle an inch, even using the crowbar. Totally exhausted, I flopped on a neatly made bunk and gave a sigh. You have to walk back. But we just came from there. Alisa seemed to regain a bit of her self-control, as well as her usual rudeness. Well, you can stay here if you want. There's water, ration kits, probably the radio's still working. She looked at me spitefully but said nothing. My whole body ached terribly. It was only now I tried to relax that I began to realize how badly. A deep wound on my leg was bleeding profusely. My hands were heavily bruised. Blood was thickening in my hair. Yo, you're not in good shape, my boy. You should probably... I was gonna say go to a doctor, but you're stuck down here. That's pretty bad. And are you okay? I asked Alisa, either just out of courtesy or because I was really worried about her. It took her some time to answer. Can we be okay in a situation like this? Well, I mean that... I pointed to the wound on my leg. Oh, cried Alisa. We need to sanitize it urgently. No need. I'll survive. Stop. You must do it, or you'll risk it getting infected and then they'll take your leg off. My granddad lost his leg that way in the war. Alisa looked truly concerned and I decided not to argue. Are you worried about me, Vache? Okay, but it's kind of a long way to the infirmary. Hang on. She smiled and started to rummage through the cabinets. There was a fair chance of finding some kind of medicine in a bomb shelter, and soon enough Alisa pulled out a first aid kit with a triumphant look. Okay, hold still. Well, I'll try. Treating the wound with an iodine-soaked cotton swab felt like the touch of a red-hot iron. I clenched my teeth hard and hissed with pain. Come on, it's not that painful. It is. Maybe you should try it yourself. It was easier with my other wounds, and soon enough I looked like a leopard, all covered in brown spots. Thanks. You think that was anything special? We just had to treat your injuries. Alisa snorted and turned her back on me. Who would have thought that this girl would have medical training? Or first aid training at least. Sure. I refrained from arguing and got up from the bunk. Even a short rest had definitely been good for me. Well, shall we go? Alisa clenched my arm, walking close in step with me. We headed back slowly, carefully looking for a hole in the ceiling. The tunnel seemed endless. We couldn't find the place where we fell down, not even after 5 nor even 10 minutes. We lost, Alisa asked sadly. It might be possible to get lost in the forest. It just came to me that that's exactly what we'd accomplished half an hour ago, so to refrain from scaring her even further, I continued with confidence. But this is a single straight tunnel, you can't get lost here. So, where are we gonna end up then? My words didn't seem to calm Alisa down enough. We'll get out of here first. We'll get out of here. There's always an exit. Really? Of course there is. The workers that built it somehow got back up to the surface, didn't they? Yeah, I guess. It appeared that she was trying to look as bold as usual, but it wasn't turning out well. In the dim light, it was evident that Alisa was shivering. A look of extreme exertion was plastered on her face. Fine, let's move forward. In a few minutes, I noticed a hole in the floor. It looked like a shell crater, large enough to get ourselves through. What's down there? Hell if I know. I kneeled and pointed the light downwards. Damp ground, some kind of rail tracks. Must be a mine. Alisa looked at me questioningly. Of course, we could easily sidestep the hole, but my instincts insisted that we wouldn't encounter anything good proceeding down the tunnel either. There would either be a dead end or yet another jammed door. On the other hand, it was naive to believe that we would find an exit in the mines. We could give it a try. In the worst case, we'll just come back. It's low enough to let us climb back up later. Her face took on a suffering expression. Then Alisa turned away from the light and quietly said, "You say so." As I thought, we were in a mine. Miles of rust-eaten tracks stretched far away down the corridors. I could virtually see the overloaded minecarts creaking along these tracks ages ago. The walls were propped up by the rotten beams and water occasionally dripped from the ceiling. I wasn't sure whether it was scary here or in the catacombs of the bomb shelter above. I'd say that up there it was like a post-apocalyptic setting, and down here, occult medievalism reigned. In any case, I was even more eager to get out of here and do so as soon as possible. Alisa didn't utter a word after we descended into the mine. She just walked next to me, clenching my hand so hard I started to worry. Are you alright? No, she said quietly. I understand that it can't be okay, but how are you holding up? Fine, she replied with that indifferent voice. It's good, because I really wanted to say, because if you go nuts too, it's gonna be a massacre. Because we will find an exit. We'll definitely find one. Yeah. It seems she wouldn't last much longer. We should go faster. I quickened my steps and we reached the fork after a couple of dozen meters. Oh, great. Well, so which way? Alisa seemed to have completely disconnected from the outer world and didn't worry about what would happen to us or how we could leave this place. Well, let's think. To the left or to the right? And what if we get lost? I decided to put a mark on the ball in case we get lost and return to this spot again. Soon a large cross scratched with a stone decorated one of the beams. So, now we're ready to go. There you go. Here's something. Think so? Alisa looked a little refreshed. Sure. Frankly speaking, I really wasn't sure that there would be an exit behind this door. But it wasn't like we had any choice anyway. I pulled the handle. We found ourselves in some kind of room that resembled either a boiler room or a utility room under the bomb shelter. Empty bottles, cigarette butts, and other bits of debris littered the floor. That proves that there is an exit from these caves. I scanned the room with the flashlight, and in the farthest corner I saw Shurik, doubled up and trembling all over. Shurik! Who is that? He stammered. Shurik, we've been looking for you all night and you're just sitting here. Get up! Not going anywhere. He started quietly, but with every word his voice gained strength and he was shouting at the top of his lungs. No, I won't go with you anywhere. You don't exist. You aren't here anyway. It's a hallucination. It's unscientific. Yeah, unscientific. What do you mean by you aren't here? Here we are. We came searching for you. Alisa had remained silent until now, but then she let go of my hand and took a few steps towards Shurik. What are you doing? I asked quietly. She hesitated for a moment but proceeded as if not hearing me. She totally slapped him, didn't he? Didn't she? The fudge. Finally, having come close to the lost pioneer, Alisa fetched him a scathing slap across the face of the... Wow. Across the face. You. We nearly died while searching for you. Those damn woods at night, that bomb shelter, these freaking mines. I'm one mass of bruises thanks to you. And you what? You're just hanging out, drinking booze and seeing pink spiders, you bastard? Shurik stared at her with a bemused look. Now then, get your ass up and move. No. He began to whisper quietly. No. Somewhere deep inside me, on the very edge of my awareness, I got a feeling that something really bad was going to happen now. It happened. Premonition, intuition, or just an analysis of the situation, from the way Shurik was sitting or the expression on his face hinted at his following actions. And probably all of that together, I rushed to Alisa, the light fiercely jumping all over the room and highlighting Shurik's face for a second, twisted with madness. He was wielding a metal rod, and if I had been a moment too late, he would have definitely have smashed in Alisa's head with it. But I made it. Everything was like a dream. The distant shout of a girl, a hollow thud, the flashlight going out in the eerie silence except for the heavy breathing of Shurik. So that is Alisa's cry. Huh. It took me a while to come to my senses. What are you doing, you jerk? I checked my arm and it felt okay. The blow landed on the flashlight. So now we were in complete darkness. You won't get it. Won't get me. Shurik's hysterical laughter was quickly fading away in the distance. Hey, where are you going? Get back here now! Won't get... The yell vanished into the distance. Little freak. I've tried to fix the flashlight in the darkness. No way. Shurik has smashed it into pieces with his rod. Then I suddenly thought of Alisa. Are you okay? I've heard a quiet sob, and at the same time at the same instant I felt her embrace, hugging me tightly. Okay. It's okay, it's all over now. Everything's fine. Well, in fact, nothing was fine, but I needed her to get a grip on herself, otherwise we stood no chance of getting out of here alive. I tenderly caressed her head. I wonder, Alisa crying? Is that a funny thing? Maybe in different circumstances. I'm scared. That's okay. I'm scared too. I noticed this strong and sudden transformation in Alisa. But what the heck? Anyone would be scared in these circumstances. Moreover, she's a girl. But why aren't I scared? No, not scared. Why am I still able to keep my mind clear and speak sense? Because you have somebody that's counting on you. It's psychological, I believe. Yep, there you go. Might it be because I have to worry about more than just myself? Okay, come on. We have to get out of here anyway. Hold on. Just a sec. Said Alisa quietly, and the room became illuminated by the dim flicker of a lighter's flame. Where did that come from? Statue. She forced a gentle smile and handed me the lighter. Alright. I quickly swept my eyes over the room, searching for something that could be used as a torch. There was some tattered rags and a rod among the debris on the floor. One of the bottles contained some liquid that smelled like industrial alcohol. For better or for worse, in the middle I was holding something that resembled a flaming torch in my hands. I don't know how long it will last, so we got to move quickly. Where to? Alisa seemed to be returning to her senses. Let's go back. At least we'll reach the bomb shelter. For one thing, there's light there. She gave me a quiet nod and took my hand. The torch was burning poorly. We had to reignite it every other minute. One didn't have to be an oracle to predict an extremely short lifespan for that rag we were using. I became more and more afraid that we wouldn't leave the darkness in the mine. You couldn't rely too much on just a lighter. However, we reached the hole that led up to the catacombs quite fast. It seems that I memorized the route after all. We struggled to get up, scrambling over the rocks almost blindly. Okay, where are we going now? Asked Alisa, getting her breath back. What do you mean? We're going to that room with the bunks and cabinets. Which way is that? I opened my mouth to reply, but suddenly realized that I had not the slightest idea. The hole looked the same from all sides, just like the walls, the floor, and the ceiling. We had not a single hint to indicate the right direction. Well, don't you know? Alisa asked sadly and sat on the ground. No. I replied quietly, put out the torch to preserve it, and sat next to her. Going to die here. She rested her head upon my shoulder. Alisa's voice sounded flat, one might even say calm, but I could feel that her body was trembling either with cold or with fear, with both combined. Don't be silly. Sure, things are getting worse, but they're still pretty far from we're gonna die. They will come and rescue us in the morning. Olga Dmitrievna will call the police. So, I would love to believe that myself. You see, yeah. I lost track of time sitting there. I was afraid to go forward or backward. I was afraid to make a choice, as our torch definitely wouldn't last both ways. Wandering in total darkness without any source of light was definitely worse than waiting for the rescue here. This way, at least we would have some light left for an emergency. Suddenly, a rumbling started echoing in the distance. Well, here's that emergency. That was definitely the clank of door bolts mixed in that rumbling. Get up! I harshly pulled Alisa to her feet and lit the torch with shaking hands. What is it? She asked in dismay. I don't know, but it seems there is someone. We have to run. To be honest, I wasn't sure that it was such a good idea. What if the mad shirk is there? In fact, that's the least of all the evils I can imagine. But we had no choice left. The stones scattered beneath our feet. I desperately tried not to fall down, holding my hand with the torch out in front and dragging Alisa with the other. She ran along in silence, breathing heavily. I really wanted to look back at her, but didn't have the strength or time. Finally, the outline of the open door appeared before us and I leapt into the bomb shelter, readying myself to fight any foe that was there. But the room was empty. I swept my eyes across the room, trying hard to spot hidden monsters, shirk or any other evil entity. But it was all exactly the same as it was the first time we'd been here. Except for the door. The second door. It was open. Somebody has passed through here. I spoke up triumphantly. Who? Don't know. Maybe it was Shurik. But how did he manage to open it? Who the hell cares? Come on! There was another corridor behind that door and it was ascending slowly. So we're getting closer to the surface. I was right. After several hundred feet, I stumbled upon a ladder leading to a small hatch on the ceiling. It didn't take much effort to open it. What's up there? Who cares? It's better than staying down here anyway. Whoa. Oh. I climbed the ladder and found myself surrounded by gloom. However, this gloom was definitely lighter than the darkness of the catacombs. As my eyes got more used to it, the outlines of the walls, the ladder, and the door leading to the outside were emerging in the pale moonlight. I helped Alisa to climb up and we literally sprang out of the building. The exit from the catacombs was located in some sort of ruined building that resembled either a nursery or a country school. Must be the old camp. Alisa sat on one of the swings and wiped the sweat from her forehead with the back of her hand. See? So we found it after all. I smiled involuntarily. What are you laughing at? She frowned and pouted with displeasure. To put it shortly, she returned to her usual self. So, it's not so scary here anymore? I wasn't scared there either. Oh, come on. That's right. I wasn't. Whatever. I was angry. I really felt hurt because of Alisa. If not for me, she would have still been down there in that damn mine. Where are you going? She asked in a less self-assured voice as I turned around and walked slowly towards the camp. Back to the camp. Hey! Alisa jumped up right away and started to walk next to me. For a moment I wanted to say something nasty, but I wasn't ready to start the next argument. We found the path that we had taken before surprisingly fast, even the 2 holes we'd fallen into. It was only about 200 meters from the old camp. I stopped at the square and turned to Alisa. Well? Well? She looked uncertain, even confused. Then... Sure. Deep inside I wanted to yell at her, to scold her, even to insult her. Oh yeah, her pride is hurt because she cried in his arms. On the other hand, I wanted to have a meaningful conversation. In the end, I just kept silent, turned around and slowly headed toward the leader's cabin. But something persistently disturbed the quiet of the night. The fudge is that? I keenly listened to it and realized that it was the snoring of Shirk, who was sleeping peacefully on a bench. Hey! I called Alisa, who hadn't walked too far away. Get up, you! Shirk slowly came to his senses and stared at us blankly. Oh, is it morning already? Morning, yeah, sure. Sometimes one acts first, thinks later. Of course, if it all starts in the brain, then the current comes through the neural links, thereby transmitting the command to the body. But sometimes... You better be getting to a point here, Semyon. But sometimes the subconsciousness just works faster than the consciousness. That's exactly why my fist swung and smacked Shirk in the guts, and it was only then that I realized what I'd done. He coughed, tried to catch his breath and writhed in pain on the bench. What the hell was all that about? I already felt bad about it. I shouldn't have treated him so rough. What are you talking about? Shirk looked at me in shock. In the mine. What mine? He turned his head, completely confused. Why am I here? Why are you here? Stop fooling around. Alisa barged into the conversation. You nearly killed me in there. Now you're going to pretend like nothing happened? What happened? You really don't remember? Not a thing. Okay. So what is the last thing you do remember? Shirk tried to concentrate. Well, I was on my way to the old camp in the morning. I knew I could find some hardware for the robot there, so... So? That's all. I don't recall anything since then. Then I just woke up here. I let out a heavy sigh as I turned away. Well, go ahead. Sweet dreams. Hey, where are you? I ignored Alisa and stumbled away to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. She stayed, arguing with Shirk. I sat in the deck chair and looked up at the stars. This night they seemed to be brighter than usual. Perhaps they seemed so because not too long ago my only source of light was a dim flashlight and then a torch. The stars are brighter than a flashlight and obviously a torch. Is this song new? Sounds new. Most of the stars, I guess, are even brighter than the sun, but they're so far away. So, why have you come? I asked without even turning my head. Alisa's footsteps could be heard well in advance in the silence of the night. Well, what did Shirk say? He said that he doesn't remember anything, that it's unscientific and nonsense like that. I think he really doesn't remember because of shock and stress. Who am I to say? I was in the same boat not too long ago. Yeah, I'm still in it though. Do I have amnesia? Well then, why did you come here? Then again, I guess I knew the answer. That's exactly why I hadn't gone to sleep but waiting for her here. Well, Alisa sat down next to me. Kind of wanted to thank you. After all, down there, problem. I said gently and leaned back. Well, alright then. She got up and was going to go. If you think that I'm angry with you, I'm not. Everything's okay. I didn't actually think that. Alisa got worked up. Fine then. Okay. Yeah. Then just go already. I didn't say it so kindly, but he said it kindly and waved his hand. I'll go when I want to. So now you don't want to go? I want to. Well, is something preventing you from going? Moron. Alisa stamped her foot and quickly walked away from the leader's cabin. I took a deep breath and stood up. My head was terribly dizzy from fatigue. Well, at least Olga Dmitrievna is sleeping already and I won't have to explain anything. However, it wasn't that easy. Hey there. The camp leader was standing in the middle of the room and was obviously preparing for a lengthy conversation. Or rather for a debriefing. You know, I have been doing this series for so long now, but I can never seem to remember their voices. Right, you know, I'm just gonna take a pause here and say that I rather enjoyed that. That was well written. And I'm enjoying Alisa's story in general. You know, at the beginning, I said that maybe the story would change my mind on her, and it's done a pretty good job of that. She's on my good side now. Her and Lena are now my two favorites. So that's cool. I apologize for the tone of my voice right now. It's 7:15 in the morning and I haven't slept. So I am hella sleepy right now. But we only got a little bit more to go before I can call it an episode. Would you care to explain? What's the matter? In fact, you didn't mind when we were going to search for Shurik. And what? Have you found him? It looked like she was more concerned about me coming back late than the fate of the lost pioneer. Yes, we have. By the way, why are you standing here in the darkness? What? I said why in the darkness? Because it's time to sleep. I couldn't agree with her more, although I was slightly surprised by such an abrupt mood swing. I like this song. I just barely stumbled to my bed and collapsed on it without undressing. But still, Alisa. I just didn't know what I should think of her. Yeah, I know the feeling, bro. It wasn't because she'd been acting strange recently. No, on the contrary, all of her behavior was quite consistent and understandable. Even her returning to thank me. I thought of Alisa much more than anything else that had happened tonight. Although if you get down to it, there was nothing supernatural about it. Uncomfortable, sure. Frightening, even spine-chilling, sure. Something related to my arrival here? Hardly. These thoughts put me to sleep. Day 5. Alright, this is the dream sequence, and I am gonna stop it right here before I collapse. My body hurts. So I want to mention something before I say goodbye for the episode, if that makes sense. I don't know if it's proper English, I'm too tired to care. Before I say goodbye for right now, I want to mention that either by the time this uploads or shortly sometime after, I'm gonna be changing the name of the channel, because I'm gonna make this channel exclusively visual novels, because I'm enjoying Everlasting Summer so much. I know I'm gonna want to try more in the future, but you probably saw that I was trying to do like Minecraft videos. The reason I do that is because that is so much fun to edit. But it doesn't really go well with Everlasting Summer. It doesn't really go well with visual novels. At least I don't think it does. So I'm gonna start another channel, call it Squallline, move all of the Minecraft stuff over there and continue it over there for like the 2 or 3 of you that watch the episodes. And just keep this channel about visual novels. I have a few names in my head that I'm juggling right now. I don't know for sure yet what I'm gonna call it, but if you notice that it's a different name, well, this is why. Because of, yeah. So, until next time, thank you.